Hey guys, I've been hanging out in Southern California reviewing some of the Brose bikes, and what's cool about their bikes is they have a number of different drive systems, and in this case, we've got the Brose T trekking, we've got the Brose TF trekking fast, I guess, and then we have the S Sport, right? And so it's kind of neat to see several different drive systems from a company that I'm learning more about, and a company that's kind of new to the United States. And so I'm here with Joe Voland and then Dan Jeffries. Yeah, this is so cool because, you came all the way here from Germany, Joe, right?
Yes, we are based in Berlin, so in the heart of Germany.
Well, maybe you can tell me a little bit about the history of the company, because I've heard it's an automotive company and you're pretty big.
That's a big company. So it's an old company that's founded in Berlin. Max Brose, a long history, 1908.
Wow.
It is something like that. And the current CEO is the fourth in the row. So it's a family-owned and still family-ruled company. So that's a big tradition, which makes it very familiar to work with. So it's quite a very nice company too. But it's automotive. And I'm the guy from the bicycle industry to show these automotive guys how to deal with you guys in the bicycle industry. That's really cool.
Okay. So, look, we're in kind of a bright spot here. Why don't we move over to the shade and we'll keep talking about the history and stuff. We'll leave the bikes behind for a moment.
All right.
So, I like to have these informal conversations and get a little bit of feedback, because you hop on a bike and the motor kind of works, and you start to feel like, in this case, this is a more advanced system where it's measuring your wheel speed and your pedal cadence and your pedal torque. It's responsive. And that's the kind of like automotive background, being able to merge those two things. And reliability is something that's come up before with e-bike systems of all types. And in your case, you're using like a belt drive, a Gates carbon belt drive, and it creates that natural smooth feel. Can we talk about the history coming into e-bikes and then why you chose this design? And feel free, I don't know who wants to.
Yeah, so Brose, they are quite in every second car of the world there is a Brose drive in. So nobody knows it very well. So Brose, the lifters of the whole seat systems.
That moves the seat forward and back?
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly. Cool. And then the windows and door systems, they are very sophisticated. And then you have also the cooling systems and the steering systems. Brose is selling something like 200 million electric motors per year, so quite a lot.
Wow.
And we are not yet there at e-bike. That's a very small activity which has been manufacturing in Berlin since 2014. So that's in the heart of Germany. And that's the basis of this drive is a steering motor, which is used million times in a German premium brand cars.
I know over in parts of Europe, electric bikes are more popular, and it just seems like maybe an emerging market. When did this start? When did Brose start getting interested in electric bikes and making motors?
Oh, that's something like 2010, something around that area.
So 7 or 8 years ago.
Yes.
Wow.
Because there's the e-mobility, which is a big issue in Europe and especially in Germany. Mm-hmm. They are into that, and that brings a lot of new people on the bicycle. So that's something where they said, okay, that's a growing market, let's go in. And we have the knowledge at Brose. There are some departments in the headquarters with 3,000 engineers. They are only looking into the whole year round about magnets. And there are others only with wiring. So there's a lot of deep know-how of drives in. And they said, okay, we can do that. And in e-bikes, you do need that. And so we transferred it over there.
Okay. Why? Okay, so these bikes over here, these are 2018 models from Brose, and they have the 3 different motors that you sell. is this like a second or third generation motor? And did the first one have a belt drive? Like a little bit more history. Do you know about that?
Yeah, so the motors were actually adapted from a power steering motor system.
Okay.
And as Joe said, it began, the thought process and idea began in 2010. And for the better part of the next couple of years, the engineering teams worked to adapt the motor for e-bike application. And so the first generation of motors were released in 2014 to the market, and the current generation of motors that you see, the T motor was our second generation of motor, along with the S motor. So T was originally designed around city and urban type riding. But as the market grew up and as application, especially into mountain bikes, evolved, we received feedback from our partners like Brose to say, we need a product that is more performance minded, and so the S motor was created and now being adapted and put into mountain bikes, but we're also seeing in pavement with the super commuters and those.
I mean, tell me about this expansion to the U.S. What's your role?
So it's very exciting. My role is actually multifold, and it's evolving. But I came on board to support Brose to develop their OE business here and work with the partners that we have here and new partners, in addition to helping to build out the service center that we will be creating and going online with in 2018. So
in Seattle?
Up in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle. So we will facilitate call support, email support. We'll also have online resources and assets that retailers, as well as our brand partners, can utilize, whether it's videos or tutorials, FAQs and things like that. But it will be a full complement of support for the market here in the U.S. And Brose is very excited as we grow and add more partners to deliver that kind of service.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Do you have something to add there, Joe?
Yeah, so that's something that we started in Germany, and it's now in 2017 the third season. So we are quite successful. So we have more than 250,000 of drives running around with the system. So the start of had been that we want to create a bicycle and not a motorbicycle. Motorcycle.
There's no throttle. I noticed
that's not a throttle. That's something that should still be a natural feeling of cycling. And therefore we had some technical features which are unique. So there is one that we have a second freewheel. So when the support after 20 miles stop, that then there is no resistance anymore. So it's like the natural bicycle. So that helps quite a lot, because a lot of you guys are faster than 20 miles.
Yeah,
so
I certainly, at certain times. And then the thing is, as you're saying, there's that freewheel, and you use a traditionally sized chainring. So one of the competitors in the space is Bosch, and they have a smaller chainring, and there's like a reduction gear, so it kind of spins extra, which means as you're turning, it kind of has to, there's kind of a gearbox in there that has to move. You don't have that, and you can swap your chain rings on a lot of your bikes to another size if you want.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Some of the benefits, and then the belt drive. But coming back to, I've tested a lot of these bikes and stuff. I'm more familiar with Bosch because I think they've been in the United States longer. But then when I talk to you guys, and it's like, okay, they've been around for, Brose has been around in Germany for a while. And I've even seen your bikes here, like with the Specialized Turbo, maybe going back to 2015, 2016. So it has been here, just at lower volume. So is this service center concept and support, a lot of the warranty has been 2-year comprehensive whatever, but maybe it just hasn't been as easy to get support? Or what does this do, Dan? Like, what does the service center do?
I think for our brand partners, it gives them confidence that we are here in the market, and that we're supporting them directly as well in those situations. They're retailers. So it's always nice when you have local support that is in your time zone. So in the past, support has oftentimes come back to the brand and then has to be relayed to Berlin. And Brose has always been very responsive, but this allows us to be even more responsive and more flexible and create even greater levels of service. So I think we're going to learn a lot from this next year in our service capabilities and continue to adapt and build it out. And I think that gives the green light to many product managers who are looking at different motor systems and appreciate the natural feel of the Brose motor as well as the power.
And the branding, because this battery, it's been kind of inserted into the down tube, and on the Specialized Turbo, same thing.
Yes.
It's kind of a custom battery versus on some of the other companies, they have a standard battery pack that you kind of have to work around.
That's right.
What are some of the, you know, we mentioned the belt drive that kind of makes it natural and smooth, the custom battery, maybe customizing your display. What are some other advantages that you want to play out or shout out for your brand?
So it is, the belt drive is very silent. So that's something when you're out in the nature, you don't want to hear is sewing machine or something like that.
Yeah,
so you want to,
a sewing machine, is that what?
Exactly.
Yeah, awesome.
So it should be silent, and that's something what the belt drive is doing. And also there's no vibration of the drive on your pedals. So
yeah, because you've got like a planetary gear on one side and then a belt, and then your output over here. So in between, the belt can kind of, it's more organic.
Yes, yes.
Exactly. That's a natural feeling driving what we wanted to achieve.
Okay.
Well, and I think the natural feeling is also achieved through the high resolution sensors, the torque, cadence sensors.
Yes.
And the software.
Okay. So you guys, it measures the rear wheel speed, pedal cadence, and pedal torque. But do you know how quickly it does that, or do you have any feedback on stats?
It's within milliseconds, and the software that's been designed is designed to provide an output that is not jerky, does not accelerate.
I noticed that, especially compared to like Shimano's new E8000 drive. I was riding that earlier today, and there's kind of you go from like nothing to like, you know, it versus this really fluid, and your motor starts really, it's kind of gradual. If you're pushing gently, it pushes gently too. What are is there some sort of generalized output? Because with the Bull system, I think it's like 50% at eco or the lowest, up to 320 at the highest. Does that sound?
That's about right. And there's the system can be set up with 3 or 4 support levels, but it's the increments that you want a brand manager or a product a company wants to achieve. So that's about from 60% up to a little over 300%.
And an app, because there's also Bluetooth interface. So with Specialized, they have an app that lets you change and kind of adjust some of the assist levels.
Correct.
And they call theirs Trail Tune. That's the Specialized version. And then, you know, we have Bulls, and they're kind of doing their own thing.
Yes.
That's really interesting, that back to customizing and giving those brands some freedom.
Right. And that's the advantage, I think, of Brose too, is in the market, we're considered an open system. So Brose, as Joe mentioned, is an expert in making motors, and has been making motors for decades. Very reliable, high quality, German engineering and German made. Yeah. And so we've worked with other partners on batteries, displays, and things like that to bring together the best of all the systems in those categories.
Yeah. Well, and like the Raleigh Redux, that one has the standard, just kind of generic Brose display.
That's right.
Maybe Blocks or something is who makes that.
Yes.
And it, you know, you can take it off, and it's kind of nice, and then you see it sort of adapted and customized a little bit brand to brand.
That's right. Bulls wanted to do something a little special and to provide something different, and they were able to do that with the Brose system.
I want to do a shout out, because we're giving Bulls a lot of love because I have those bikes right now, but I think Easy Motion does Brose, Specialized.
Correct.
And then we've got Bulls, obviously, and then we mentioned Raleigh, IZIP.
IZIP.
Yeah.
Fantic. Yep. So those are some of our major partners right now, and
in the U.S.
Yeah.
And we're excited because there will be some announcements, of some new partners joining us at the beginning of the year. And I wish we could say something now, but we'll keep it a little secret.
We'll have to meet up again, Dan. I'll come up to Seattle
and let you know more about it. But we're excited about some of the growth and some of the new projects.
Is there anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
But there are quite some other brands up in Europe, and so they are waiting that we have a presence in support in the US, and that has been predominant for them to come to the US market. So the others will follow, and that's one of the major reason why we have a presence in the US and also in other countries. So we are covering Europe, we are covering East Asia with the support. So that's very, very good also for you guys to know that there is some competent knowledge behind this technical special.
Well, you seem confident, Dan. Yeah, like stepping in. I'm sorry, I started this conversation off because I was like, okay, we're getting the German perspective, but you're obviously studied up.
Yeah.
So anything else? But I want to go over to the bikes again. But
Yeah.
anything else while we're here that you didn't say that you care to?
I think we've said a lot.
Yeah, we have.
If not, then reach out to one of our partners or to us as well. So.
And leave a comment.
think-
Sometimes
yeah.
you might be on the
Please,
video or something.
I think we have talked a lot, but the most essential thing is to exercise
The riding?
yourself.
We
The
have
riding,
3
that's
bikes,
to get the
right?
real feeling.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
Try
And
them.
yeah.
Try them.
A lot of these
Try
bikes are available at dealers across the U.S. More and more dealers are coming online, of course, and there's even like e-bike expos and things that happen occasionally.
That's
So my reviews, I do the best I can to try to ride it and put the camera right down there and everything. But let's go. I want to run through the specs, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so back to the way these are lined up. We've got like highest power down to the more basic trekking model. So what this is Lakuba E. Actually, they're in the wrong order. This is the Bull's Lakuba Evo E8. And this one's just using standard trekking motor. It goes up to 20 miles per hour. That's 32 kilometers per hour. It's up to 90 Newton meters. But again, 20 mile per hour cutoff.
So actually the T and the TF are about, and I don't know the translations, about 3.9 kilos.
Yeah.
And the S motor is a 3.4.
Oh.
So we dropped quite a bit of weight with the S motor, and most of that is accomplished through new electronics.
Yeah.
And some lighter weight materials.
That is so cool. Okay, and the other thing that I was reading, so we just did the T, okay, 20 miles per hour. Then if
Yep.
you want to go faster, they have the TF, so trekking fast.
Yep.
Kind of the same specs, it's just unlocked to go faster.
That's correct. So it's very similar motor, but it's unlocked to go up to the 28 mile an hour limit. And
45 kilometers per hour in Europe. You have to
Yes.
have special lights and brakes and everything like that. So
Yes.
in America, we're a little sloppier, I think, for now. The legislation is
Yeah,
about
then you have there the insurance plate. So
Yeah,
that's
right.
that's the difference. That's here the insurance plate. You're
License
obliged
plate.
to. This
Yes.
is in Europe not considered as a bicycle. This is a motorcycle, and you are not allowed to use the bike paths, and not allowed to go into the woods.
Don't spoil it for us here in America, man. We got
That's something we are working hard on that.
it falls squarely here in the U.S. as a Class 3
Yeah.
bicycle. So
you can ride on the side of the road,
right.
and there are certain bikes, but you're probably not going mountain biking, and that's
You're
where
probably not.
Class 1 over here. This is just like the T. The S is Class 1, up to 20 miles per hour, 32 kilometers per hour. As Dan was saying, it sounds like it's shaved off a little bit of weight, and it still offers 90 Newton meters of torque, but apparently 15% more power and 1.25% more efficiency. So
correct.
it's interesting to get more power and be more efficient and lighter. It's like better
Yes.
in every way.
That's the engineering department that Joe was mentioning, hard at work there in
Wow.
Berlin. So there's a great deal of complexity that goes inside the motors. We've got this great exploded view
Yeah.
at some of the trade shows, and
And on your website, I've
And
seen
on
it
our
kind of
website.
break. I might overlay that right now, where it's kind of like you can see the gears turning and the belt drive. That's
it's
the big
impressive.
highlight.
It's very impressive. And so when you put that all together, I mean, when you look at the package in itself, it's a motor, but when you break it down, there's a lot of complexity, both in the hardware and the electronics, but also in the software.
Mm-hmm.
The other cool thing I think that's exciting for many brands is the ability for brand managers to adapt the motor to the inclination they want.
Right.
So we can work both at a horizontal. The inclination can be in line with the down tube,
Yeah.
or it can be vertical. So it still delivers the same smooth, natural feeling, but it gives some flexibility in terms of product design.
So let me restate that. It sounds like the angle of this motor, he's saying inclination, so they can angle it up, blend it with that down tube, raise the kind of the clearance maybe
Yes.
a little bit.
Yes.
Also shorter chainstay. It seems like this radius right here is similar whether it's on the back or at an angle.
That's correct.
Okay, so you're not really saving chainstay, but you do want to have shorter chainstays for that nimble poppy feel on a lot of electric bikes. I guess for me, this motor seems it's more compact and it blends in a lot. Did you know the Q factor conversation, if this supports like 175 millimeter Q factor?
I think it's just outside of that, but very close.
Excellent. You are
Yeah.
very knowledgeable. I really appreciate that,
Yeah,
Dan.
yeah, yeah.
It's nice to get that feedback and honesty, because so for example, the Shimano E8000, one of their big things is like, oh yeah, the Q factor is 175, but I've ridden both of these. I prefer the Brose the new S, the sport motor. Honestly, like for me, the fluidness is there. What about RPM? So I like to pedal faster. Does this support up to 120, or how fast can it go?
Well, you might have stumped me on that one. I don't know, Yo. So not sure about that.
Not sure about that. I can tell you it's as fast, if not faster, than Bosch, and that's, for me, as someone with a knee sensitivity, that's a big deal. Being able to not have to shift gears to reach the higher speed, I can just pedal faster if I want.
You're absolutely right, and but that's once again the point. You should try it. You should try it.
Yeah.
That makes the difference. You have to feel.
Okay, well, I think that's pretty good. I love just talking to the experts and getting that perspective. Thank you so much for flying all the way to the United States. Give me a high five, Joe. That's how we do it here in America. Rock on. I hope this helps everyone. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. These guys might chime in occasionally. Of course, I also have a forum section for Brose, so people can kind of, get along. And I'm creating a motor guide that shows different motors next to each other so you can hear it. It's not actually perfectly silent, especially in the higher RPM, especially if you're spinning fast and climbing a hill, but it is one of the quieter ones. It's very smooth. I genuinely like it. Thanks again, you guys.
Thanks, Court.
This is kind of an edit that we just wanted to add in. We were talking about service centers, and even though they're launching the Seattle Service Center, specialized, it's a big company, and they've kind of got their own Brose Service Center, and then it sounds like maybe Bulls also. Can you clarify this?
Yes, so Bulls, they have also their own service center, but we are supporting this service center with our knowledge, with our teaching, and that we will do training for the dealers, that they are becoming more knowledgeable, that you can ask them plenty of questions so that they are knowledgeable to answer. That is the point.
And to do, like, for example, we were talking about Bulls a minute ago and how you can have 3 levels of assist or 4, and it's kind of like this firmware thing, and that's something that would be handled by the Bulls company.
Exactly.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's good to know. There's more than just like one service center. It's like more and more the dealers are going to be knowledgeable, and some of these big companies as well.
Yeah, and then we support them through the service center, so that directly to our OE partners, and they manage the relationship with the retailer and work through that.
Okay, look, guys, it's a little bit of business to business here.
Yeah.
From a consumer standpoint, it's just okay. Good, they're offering some great support here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that the OEs, they know very well their bicycle themselves. So we don't want to interfere. We want to show them what is the specialty, and to make them the best partner for you.
Okay, that's great. Awesome clarification. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Court.